Come join Libby and Molly, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode 91 of Consignment Chats. Today is our spotlight. We love our C-Chat spotlight. And we have an old friend back, not old age-wise, let's not get it twisted. But a friend who's been on back in our early days. She's an OG of C-Chats, an OG.
Definitely.
Welcome, Liz O'Kane. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yes.
Back.
You have had so much going on. Like, I can't wait for an update. I'm so excited to just shine the spotlight on you and all the amazing things you've been doing. So let's hear about it.
Yeah.
I've been involved in a lot.
Yes,
so
you have.
It's been so much fun.
Well, I want to start with what I see on your shirt right now, branded beautifully, that you're wearing. I want to start first and ask you to tell everybody your main business and where you're located and where people can find you.
Yeah, I am Liz of Colorado Reworn, which started, it's my eBay store. Colorado Reworn directs you directly to my eBay store. I also sell on a couple of other websites, Poshmark, Mercari. And I'm located in Colorado.
Ooh, that's some good branding right there. That's some good branding.
Right. Reworn, because I did start with used clothing, of course, since that brand, you kind of expand and it's hard to change your branding.
Yes.
You're known. But it's not so hard to change your business model as you go along.
Yes.
And a special shout out for these shirts. Thank you, Teresa Cox, who helped me come up with these and get them to me.
She's a goodie. Good friend, as Libby said. That's a good friend, staying up and helping you with those awesome t-shirts.
Yeah.
Liz was saying before we started recording that Teresa was at what time in the morning were you guys up until designing the shirts?
Were from one day to another. So we were
late
designing t-shirts and doing placements and whatnot.
Watch the date change, huh?
Yes, we did. Yes. That's a great friend.
So now we've always quoted Teresa with her hashtag shut up and list. Now we need a hashtag good friend.
Hashtag stay up and get it done.
Hashtag stay up and get it done. There you go. I was trying to come up with it.
Hashtag no sleep for the wicked, right?
We gotta get Teresa with a new hashtag.
Right. I know. I was looking around because I have those shut up and list stickers, but it's actually on the back of this computer. I was like, where's my sticker? It's always with me.
I see it all the time. I don't know.
So when I close my laptop, I can be reminded that I could be on it.
Right. So it just says shut up and list when you close it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I need that like big on my wall of my office. Like I need to do the big vinyl Cricut cutout letters.
Right.
Hashtag shut up and list with a picture of Teresa's face, like in one of the middle of the letters. Like doing this, come on now. Get on it, girl.
Want to see if she's up for that.
Well, wait, I'm going to text her first.
Yeah.
Or one of those life-size cutout boards that stands up in the corner of your room with like a speech bubble. Hashtag shut up and list.
Yeah. Yes.
Pointing her finger at you. We could go on and on. All right. So you said your business started out with previously loved clothing that you were reselling. And how has that changed over the years?
So really, I was part-time for the longest time. So from 2002 to 2016, I was part-time, active duty in the Air Force, whole other life, right? But I always sold. I always sold to supplement income. I always used reselling from my kids' clothes, my used clothes, toys, and thrifted items to resell to kind of supplement that, right? As time went on and I got closer to retirement, I was like, yeah, this can change, right? Like I can do this full time. When I decided to do that, I realized sometimes having multiples of the same item is a little bit easier. And
just a little bit.
Like I'm sitting right here, right? I don't know. We'll talk about it in a minute. But I ran into some sources locally where I could do retail arbitrage and I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
to where I was like, well, I have access.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to
Why
say
not?
no to money.
Yeah. So now your business does both. You have
I do both.
new and
Yeah, I'm probably 90% clothing, 10% other odds and ends, household linens.
I was going
I
to say,
know you
where's
said
the
linens were your
linen?
favorite last time we spoke.
I thought of
Yeah.
you this morning because I just shipped off a set of placemats that sold, Vera Bradley placemats. And I
Yes.
just listed and they sold like that. And I thought of you. I was like, oh, there's Liz and the linens. Boom, out the
I
door.
love linens. They're easy, right?
So
Yeah.
easy.
And people look for the stuff that, so yeah, I love selling new linens because most of the time when you do branded linens, they have line names.
Mm-hmm.
Vera Bradley, insert the pattern.
Right.
People will look for it, they'll find it, they'll decorate.
Right.
Anyways, yeah. And then, so I'm probably about half new, half used.
Okay. All right.
And I like both. I love selling both. I love a good thrift trip. I love rescuing the items.
Me
And then
too.
retail arbitrage is kind of the same. Like when I get it, it's that last ditch effort before it gets bailed and shipped off to another country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where I get it, they do not donate it to the thrift store.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't
Wow.
donate it to the homeless shelter. They bundle it and ship it.
Yeah. Yep. I've got some of those in my pocket here too. So
Yes.
yeah. So if
That's
you guys,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was
Sorry.
just going to say off of the thrifting part, because one of the things that I've been really enjoying over the last month and a half or so, if you are not following Liz on Instagram and Facebook, get in there. You need to get on her social media and follow her because she has upped her game in her reels that she's putting out there and her thrift finds and the things she's doing. And it's so much fun. I'm loving
And
it.
you're pretty much like a celebrity. You're a reselling celebrity from my opinion.
And in me,
How
I'm
did
like,
that happen? What
I'm
like what was
thank
the
you for
evolution?
all the 3 people that like my stuff. I appreciate you.
All three.
All 3 of my people. No, you know what? I just decided, I was like, I really want to do social media for a couple of reasons. And part of it was, so my customers, if they see me, they're like, okay, she's legit. She's out here, whatnot. They can also see what I recently started doing. And I hesitated to do this is I share my highlighted sold items,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
lower price everyday stuff. Sure, I'll share it every once in a while, but highlights, for me, it serves 2 purposes. It shows my customers that may find me the variety of items that I sell and that I appreciate them. And for resellers, I don't know, maybe you've passed on that brand or you didn't think something would sell, or I have a keyword in my title that you maybe wouldn't have used. So it's kind of educational in that sense. It's not a brag, like, hey, look what I sold. I do it for those 2 reasons. So customers can find me and so other resellers can just see what's out there for sale.
Oh, that's so cool. So I always say we do What Sold Wednesday usually. And I was the same thing, like hesitant to do it in the beginning. For us, it serves two purposes, but 2 different purposes. It's to show our consigners, the items that we rehomed, but also to give our customers a feel for what we sell. And yeah, it was like I had that hesitancy, like, is this going to come off as like bragging when I put all that up there? Is it the right? But it was totally the right fit.
They love, I mean, we get so many responses, so much more feedback. That's probably the #1 post weekly is What Sold Wednesday, because people love to go through and look at it. They love to see if it was something of theirs, and Libby plays games with it too, little contests. Guess the games.
Right. And I think to anybody listening that is maybe wanting to do this or is hesitating to do this, and they're afraid of somebody saying, oh, but something negative, I haven't gotten that. And if I did, I'm going to ask them if they're okay.
Seriously, thank you for the engagement on my post. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for the uptick in the algorithm. Preach.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate and I watch people that share that, and I love seeing them. I love seeing people with their stacks of packages because it shows, A, they're getting sales. I don't care what their cost of goods or how much it's sold for. A, they're selling stuff. which means there's customers, and
Right.
B, they're proud of their business.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
what I like in this community.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I love seeing those package posts. I love seeing.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
fun to see what everybody does and what they get. And one of the things I've noticed too, Liz, through you is that I enjoy watching is the difference in things that we may source and sell, because you do a lot of amazing workout items and like ski wear and stuff, sportswear, because you live in Colorado.
Right.
And I don't think about those things here. And when I see your posts, I'm like, wow, and I'm paying attention to your brands thinking, well, if I ever come across that, in this area. So it is good for, you are educating others by doing that. But I just have fun looking at the different things, everything from one extreme to the other of who does what.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you do that. So I saw that you're going to be doing a special presentation at the Boss Reseller Remix
Yeah.
about TikTok, right?
So yeah, so social media, we're going to just talk low level Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome.
Me, and I'm so lucky that I get to speak with Trish Glenn, who did a presentation last year. Amazing. And she's spoken at eBay Open, but we noticed that last year there were quite a handful of people that weren't on social media and they were afraid of it. Now there's going to be
Yeah.
people that are attending that are high level social media.
Mhm.
And I think the great thing with having me and Trish do it, Trish and I do it, is, we're not celebrities. We don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. We're fairly new in a social media game, right?
Mhm.
Right. People can connect.
Right.
Yes.
But I think it's important to learn from those that have been in the game a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to learn from somebody that's new. They definitely wanted to take the approach from somebody new. And that's another reason, I'm playing around with the algorithm. What's working for me? What's not? What am I seeing? And I've just really loved, really Instagram, TikTok. TikTok's rough. Like that's a huge audience, man.
They're very different. The algorithm
Yeah.
is very, very different and one that picks up on. Yeah.
But it's amazing because I found through Instagram, growing on Instagram and growing through TikTok, is that there is a bigger seller community out there than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get like a little weird, like something will pop up on my feed and it'll be like a reseller video. I'm like, how did I never hear of them? Like where have I been? Like
Yeah, and there's just a whole
they're
other world.
everywhere.
Exactly. So, I've kind of grown from social media wise, it was I started out on the eBay community forums, which is a great place. They changed that up quite a few years ago to where a lot of sellers did their own like AOL message boards.
Uh-huh.
Date myself a moment.
Mhm.
And then from there they split, and then because Facebook groups were not a thing then.
Mhm.
So as Facebook groups came about, I was like, I'll just do one. And then I'm like in 100. And then I'm like, this is great. But then I realized there's an Instagram community. And then there's a TikTok community. And then there's a YouTube community.
And they're very different.
They're
Yeah.
very different.
They really are. The people that are on there are very different. I mean, our Facebook community people are very different than our Instagram people, and what they want to see and how they want to be spoken to, what information they want.
Mhm.
It's very different. It's
So
interesting.
It was really hard for both Instagram and TikTok for me, and something that I mean, come to the Boss Reseller Remix and you'll
Yes.
find out.
Mhm.
But really for me to define my why.
Yeah.
Why am I even on social media? And
Yeah.
so I really, and that's changed over time.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we've had the discussion with how many people, like, is it worth it for me to do social media? I'm like, there are so many resellers out there that are so successful that never touch social media. Like, it is not,
Not for
and I
everyone.
feel like you don't see that perspective because they're not on social media, right? Like, they heads down, shut up and list, like, let's get this done. And they're very successful.
Yeah.
So, it's important for I think all of our businesses, because building community and interacting is important, but it's definitely not a necessity.
Right. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
And that's the thing we always have emphasized in the past is, it isn't for everybody, and it depends on your mission statement and what you're trying to do. Like we use the word community. That is part of our mission statement. We want to build community, and we're not just about selling. We're about a community of people. And so, you need the social media to do that.
Yeah.
And
So I want to know about your why and how you arrived at the decision of like what social media you were going to be on, because that's probably an interesting exercise for a lot of people to step through.
Yeah. So for Instagram, and I said, well, I don't want my name to be out there because I don't want my family to see me. I know that's weird, right? Like if somebody were to search your name. So I did it under my store name. So Colorado Reworn. And, as I saw people post and I started posting, I'm like, why am I even here? Right? Like I just wanted to follow other sellers, just like we do on Facebook or the community or whatever community you have. And I was like, okay, well, I can share too. And it was, first on Facebook, then on Instagram. And Instagram's this whole other beast. It runs totally different than Facebook. And at the time, my why was just to follow people. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, this is my store name. So if people Google me, I want my store to show up and my social media to show up. So I came to the conclusion, well, I need to do some selling stuff in there. Right? Like I'm not selling to the resellers that follow me. I'm selling to the people that may find me.
Right.
And just doing that presence. But hardly anything on my page is selling. Every once in a while, I might do a quick little reel and be like, hey, look what I listed today. You can find it here. So I know that I can sprinkle that in.
Right.
I know that with my, when I started saying, okay, well, I want to share highlights of what's being sold. Again, that twofold reason for doing that.
Right.
And then when I added TikTok, because not everything on Instagram's video, even though they push reels a lot.
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm like, this is a whole big bad world. And if, I knew going into it, I'm going to be like a piece of sand next to the ocean, right? Because it is huge. And really just to follow other creators. And, TikTok's going to give you a wide variety of what's popular on TikTok until you start liking and watching what you want. So TikTok knows me now. I get dogs and I get reselling. That's what TikTok gives me, because they know I will watch a dog video all day long.
Right.
And I want to follow what other resellers are doing, not because I want to be their competitors, because I want to see what's working for them. I want to see what they're sharing. I may have missed an update from a platform that they're sharing.
Right. Right.
So, educational, fun, and dogs.
And I have to say, on my part, when I'm doing that, I also shop their stores because I'm a shopper.
Yes. So, and it was interesting. I was just telling this story because we were just talk about my brain jump around, but it all comes together, I promise.
Yes.
We were talking about videos in your eBay listings.
Yes.
And something that I experimented with, which I'm going to get back on this, but I did a video to put in my eBay listing. Just dead silence because I didn't want to get copyrighted. I'm testing listings. So I took that little 5-second clip and I'm like, I can make that a reel. So I put it on Instagram, put some background noise that related to the topic. Or no, actually, I turned it into a tutorial on how to add videos to your listing.
Smart.
And then I took that video and I put it on TikTok as just listed in my store because I have a link to my store there. And I'm like, well, that one video can be repurposed 3 times for 3 different audiences.
Absolutely.
So my buyer gets to see the pages on my book. Then I use the book for the tutorial, and then, hey, this book's for sale. I did it with some other items, and, one item sold that day, didn't think anything of it, shipped it. About 5 days later, I get a message on TikTok that said, hey, I'm sorry I didn't rate you fast enough. I was out of town. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
So that tells me they didn't message me on Poshmark where they bought my item from. They messaged me on TikTok.
Oh,
so
wow.
Somebody saw that video on TikTok and purchase them.
Wow.
So while it
Wow.
wasn't a direct sale, say buy my item,
Right.
here it was just like, oh my gosh, these are so fun. Just listed them.
Yeah. Oh, little soft selling there.
Yeah. So that is what social media I have found can be good for. Have
Mm.
I done that a lot? No. My son is now taking my pictures. So videos, like adding little videos are next
Yeah.
for certain items. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right. That's a lot to think about. Like,
Mhm.
and I love your concept of repurposing the video because it is so time. I mean, it's just time consuming to make reels and it just takes a lot of time. So
Yeah.
every little bit you can get out of that time you're investing, and they are very different audiences.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always think like I'm never afraid to post it, 5 places because
Right.
totally different audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 people are the same, but usually it's a totally
You've
different
got your
audience.
super fans that just hit you up everywhere.
I don't. I'm not there. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so excited for your presentation. So, all right.
Yes.
And here's another interesting thing. All right, so we kind of found out your why and how you're using the platforms and how you made that decision. Your ideal customer audience, it sounds like, is twofold. Like you're marketing with the same account to other resellers, right, who you're providing knowledge to, and then also your customers.
Yeah.
What kind of thought or ideas do you have on that, and how do you balance it?
So I have no formula for balancing. It's all sporadic and whatever I feel. It's worked for me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But really one thing, the biggest thing that I found interesting in doing this is, especially with resellers, is I will share something thinking everybody knows this and that I'm late to the game. I may
Mm-hmm.
share, like, oh my gosh, look, I did my storefront. I can't believe I'm so far behind on my branding. I just did it. People are like, how did you do that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought everybody knew. But you can't assume that. So then you get questions,
Mm-hmm.
from other resellers on that. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I can make a video about it. 100 other people have made a video because it's been thrown in my face based
Right.
off of who I follow.
But
And I'm
they
like,
didn't
that's a
see
great
it.
idea. So it's kind of this trickle down effect. Just because 5 other sellers have created this content doesn't mean that your audience has seen it. And
Right.
you can put your spin on it. Not that you're stealing content idea, right? Like we're all in this game together. We
Yep.
can help each other out. So yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm inspired. I keep wanting to do more like tutorials, but again, it's time consuming.
It takes
But
time.
really, I'm inspired now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Repurpose it. Repurpose it. Repurpose it. Repurpose it.
Yes, that makes it more worth the time you
Yeah.
spend for sure. For sure.
So tell us a little bit. You were a grant recipient for the eBay Up and Running grants, and tell us a little bit about how that helped you out. I know you've been very active in the community, getting people to apply and telling them about this amazing program they're offering. They offered it again this year. The submission deadline is passed, but tell us a little bit about your experience with that and how it's helped you.
Yeah. So, I mean, during the pandemic, eBay said, hey, we can help small sellers or sellers on our platform with a $10,000 grant. We're going to give 50 people $10,000. I'm like, yeah, there's like a trillion, bazillion, 100 billion sellers, but sure, I'll apply.
Right.
And I started and I told all my friends and I forgot. And I opened up my laptop. I'm like, oh man, that's due tomorrow. Let me finish it up, submit it, close my laptop, go about my business. And I won.
Yeah.
So first off, I was like, that's just a testament that I can win. You guys really need to apply if they continue to offer that. But yeah, so I was awarded a $10,000 up and running grant, and eBay gave me access to a not one-on-one, but a group seller school to
Mm-hmm.
kind of help my business. And then of course the money. And at the time, I mean, it was early in the pandemic. Things were still weird with getting inventory and leaving your house. And, I
Mm-hmm.
know everywhere's different. So everybody had a different experience with that. And I had my own experience. And, I really needed those funds to be able to do those bulk buys so that I didn't have to go to the thrift store twice a week and scrounge through who knows what,
Right.
if they were open and what was available. And really, I wanted to hire somebody to help me, but I found once that time came, I didn't want anybody else in my house.
That is the strange thing about working from home when you have your business in your
Right.
home. Yeah, there are those considerations. Yeah.
Right. But the great thing is eBay, it's a grant. They don't pay the bill for you. Right. So I was
Mhm.
able to upgrade my shipping. So instead of that, I just